The Teen Phantom Part 32 in audio. Mr. Russell has an odd expression as if he is going to set Charlotte straight. He is uncertain, speaking hesitantly. I suppose, I would have to consider her successful. She is a beautiful little brat, but she is not filthy rich. However, she is certainly no beggar. I don't know why so many take to the little brat, and I certainly cannot see you knowing that much about her. Charlotte is resolute when she speaks. I have my source, I assure you. I am not fantasizing. Mr. Russell could be a bit rueful. He has lost the bold set on his face. Then he draws some courage and speaking more boldly. You may be right, I have no way of knowing. You are a bit ignorant, but I think you are honest and sincere though. You may think of me as only a 10-year-old. I don't mind. I don't even mind you seeing me as a little brat. However, I have learned to read already, and I do a lot of it, though it may disappoint you. I know how the lawyers make it legal even when it isn't. The only ones that can scramble the truth to make it look like trash better than the lawyers are the political scammers. The lack of truth is this world's serious problem. Religion will never help us pitiful creatures, and truth is our only liberation. Mr. Russell, you would be very pleased and proud of Bill and Carol if you would give your blessing or backing in moral support, not money, just for 1 year. This institution provides an opportunity you never had when you were young. I truly am sorry if you feel I am being disrespectful, but I am just being honest and straightforward. If the lawyers would put a damper on their greed for money and take a little glimpse into the real world, this world would be enhanced greatly. Mr. Russell reaches over and squeezes Charlotte's shoulder with his big hand. Wait a minute now, let us forget that Mr. Russell stuff. I am T.J. Russell and this is my wife June Lily Russell, and June, this little handful of dynamite is the little brat who shook Bill and Carol to the roots, and she seems to have taken over their lives. I don't think they mentioned your last name. I am very sorry, I should have introduced myself. I am Sasha Charlotte Chapman, most just call me Charlotte. TJ looks very strange. It is almost as if Charlotte's name upset him, or maybe it extremely embarrassed him, or both. His expression turns to a distant look in awe. He speaks as though he has a problem in finding the right words to speak. Sasha, Charlotte, Chapman, is Herbert C. Chapman your father? Yes, he is my father. No, I do not see you as being disrespectful, and I feel guilty and embarrassed for giving you a hard time. I am grateful for what you are doing for Carol. However, as for the way you have managed to twist my son's brain up, I am not grateful to you for that. I am sure you don't mean any harm, but you have certainly shaken my family to the roots. I hope you can understand I have looked forward to see my son as a great lawyer. You may be upset with me when you find out who I truly am. I must be honest with you. If you were a lawyer, I would not like dealing with you in a court of law. I am not filthy rich. I am not wealthy enough to bribe the whole jury. Charlotte, you may be upset or perplexed when you learn that I have been your father's lawyer for many years, but do not let yourself be embarrassed, as you have spoken the truth about the larger percent of lawyers, and it even includes me in my first years of practicing law. It is a fact which makes me ashamed, and you have a perfect concept of the politicians. This may please you or make you very angry. I am the tool your father used to save your little girl. I am not a bit sorry or ashamed that I had to bribe and deceive several people to make it possible, and several lives were snuffed out, but my conscience is clear. They were scum and a menace to decency and life itself. I hope you can understand that sometimes we must fight fire with fire, and not all lawyers are crooks and thieves. Charlotte has a problem with the moisture in her eyes that has dimmed her view. She looks into TJ's face when she speaks. I am so grateful, TJ, and you have given me a clear picture of the problems honest lawyers have to bring about true justice instead of just being legal. Charlotte, would you honor me with a tour of the school? It would be my pleasure, TJ. There is just one more question and then I will detain you no longer. Charlotte, would you honor me with a challenge in your teen debate about which you spoke to my kids? You are on, You pick the subject and I will see you in court. TJ and the whole room roars with laughter. Charlotte has not a clue to why she said what she did, her face is on fire and it is too late to make amends at this time. She looks down with embarrassment and she and her little girl make a speedy exit. The people have cleared the aisle for them and no one attempt to speak to them on their way out. Mother, do you know who that boy is over there? I wonder why he is not inside with everyone else. When Charlotte looks up she is shocked to see Bill. He stands with his back against the fence. He is next to the security gate. Why are you out here, Bill? Then she sees he has tears in his eyes. Are you just very happy or is it sorrow? I am so happy, Charlotte. It would have been great if Susie could have been here, but it was her Sunday to work. I had supposed it was the reason she wasn't here, Bill. Her parents are here though. I will introduce them to you when you get back, and they are great, you will love them. How long have you been out here? As soon as Nikki finished your song I headed down the aisle before anyone got out of their seats. I really needed to be alone. What do you mean by my song? I am sorry, I should watch my tongue. If she had wanted everyone to know she would have mentioned your name. That's okay, I didn't realize you were aware of so much, Bill. When it comes to emotion I am like my mother, my little sis is more like our father. Little sis, she is larger than you are and I thought you were twins. We are. I was born first. I looked out for her as my little sis until she got with those tweakers and drunks, and now that she has abandoned those idiots I think of her as my little sis. I am sorry, I should not keep you from your hike. How did you know we were going on a hike? You spoke to Mr. Mason about it? You heard all of that out here. I have heard you since the Masons started inquiring about the tutor. There are speakers all over the place. It was not very loud but it was very plain though. Don't tell me you didn't know. Yes, I know that, but I never had a mic. But I think I know what happened. It was Nikki and Mello. They still had their cordless mics on and they were probably standing close by, and it was no accident either. You are not angry, are you, Charlotte? No, but I am a little shook up. I made a fool of myself. It was of great value to me, Charlotte, it made me so happy. My father was very considerate, he will let me make my own decisions, but he still made remarks like, I think you're losing your mind, Billy boy, for you to let a little smidgen of a brat like that wring your brain out like a dish rag astonishes me. Then he insisted on coming and checking it all out. He says all these religious schools want to indoctrinate these kids before they have enough sense to see the world as it truly is. My father needs you as much as anyone does. You shook him up right good. He does not take you lightly either, Charlotte. It is sort of strange that neither of us told our father your last name, or maybe he was so upset he didn't even listen. He spoke as if he didn't even know your first name. All he ever called you is the little 10-year-old brat. He has been obsessed with calling you that. We told him you looked to be scarcely a 10-year-old. You must have really shaken him up, Charlotte. I suppose I did, but why didn't you mention to me that your father was a lawyer? I think my father is great, but not that he is a lawyer. I don't see a lawyer as being great. My father doesn't understand that you did not cause me to dislike being a lawyer, but there is not a chance to get the point of truth across, not in his state of mind he is in. After speaking with your father I see the profession a little differently. I understand your father, we truly are in need of some honest lawyers. I respect your father very much, and it is not just because he helped to save my little girl. You have a great father, Bill, and I know you love him very much. Charlotte turns to her little girl. I am sorry, Sarah, I have acted like you did not even exist. I understand, mother. I don't mind, you have been very busy and it is enough to just know I am your little girl. Sarah, this is Bill Russell, he is a very close and dear friend, and Bill, this is Sarah May Chapman. She has been my little girl since she was 10 months old. Her parents had her smuggled out of their country to save her life and they lost theirs about a year later. Would you mind if I give you a hug? Shyly, Sarah manages to say it would be great, Bill. Bill drops to his knees with his arms full length. Carefully he takes hold of Sarah's shoulders. You are very fortunate, you have the greatest parents in the whole world and they love you dearly, and you now have a mother that will give your parents continual love. Then Sarah throws her little arms around Bill's neck and she whispers, you know a lot about my mother and I love you very much, Bill. After Bill gets to his feet he says, this has all been paradise for me, but I must not detain you any longer. I will see you kids again when you get back, and he turns and heads for the sanctuary. Sarah and her mother continue their way to the trailhead. Charlotte's mind keeps drifting back to the past few hours. Much of the time she is just looking at the immediate trail in front of her. She glances at Sarah for a few seconds. Sarah is very happy. Charlotte just being with her little girl is so comforting to her. Mother, I wonder what he is doing sitting on our stump. Charlotte looks up and sees a boy sits on the stump they usually spend some time on when they are on their hike. The boy is sitting very still. As they approach without interrupting his gaze into the forest he speaks, have you come for me so soon? We have not come for you, we have not a clue as to who you are, and do you usually turn your back on people you speak to? No, just since I died. You certainly do not look like a ghost to me. No, I am not a ghost, I am still dead. Would it humiliate you too much if you would turn around and look at me as we talk? I would be grateful if you would. I am not beautiful, but I am not all that ugly either. Would you tell me how you got through the security gate? I know nothing about a security gate. How did you get out here then? A little girl brought me and she told me to sit here and start being honest with myself. She would see that I got back to the car. I just thought you were her and she was back for me again. My mother will probably go berserk if she finds me gone. I think the little girl is an angel. I have never believed in angels. It may be I have been ignorant of the spiritual realms. Why would you think she is an angel? She knew my thoughts. She told me things that no one knows except me. That is why I didn't refuse to go with her. That does not make her an angel. You are right about your being ignorant of the spiritual realms, and you may be ignorant in some other areas as well. Are you going to turn around and talk to me like a decent kid, or are you going to sit there and be a brat? I am sorry if I seem rude, I just wish I were dead. I thought you said you were dead. I am just halfway. I am too dead to have a life, and I am not dead enough to be out of my misery. It is not necessary to tell me your name, as I know it by your pathetic attitude. Ben, are you going to come here, or are you going to force me to come and fetch you? Honest, I am not trying to be unkind. I really do feel like the best part of me has died. Charlotte hops upon the stump and she plants herself in his lap. She puts her arms around him and the side of her head against his chest. He gently puts his arms around her. For a while she hugs him, pouring her love out to him. Then she gets up, she drops to the ground in front of him, looking into his face. Tears are running down his face and his eyes are closed and he is crying. He is very emotionally upset. Please, Ben, come with me. Let us restore the other part of your life. You can do it if you will honor the facts and truth. Ben pulls himself together a bit and he dries his face and eyes with his handkerchief. He is a very good-looking kid.